mail a letter to an address, you know it'll get to the right place. Why? Because each address is unique. And what about the return address? We don't often think about it, but it's the same. The return address provides information about the one place in the whole world where the letter came from. Pretty amazing. Here's my return address. I'm from America, the state of California, the city of San Francisco, and here's the location of the building on the street. One address equals one, and only one, location. We create addresses here on our dig. Yep, that's right. We actually create addresses that are unique in the world, and we assign them to the treasures we find here in Tiberias. Most visitors to a dig only notice the trenches and the people digging, but look around and you'll see lots of staff and volunteers writing in journals. Everything that comes out of a trench must be uniquely logged and labeled. The data on the label is the unique return address for each find. The labels tell exactly where items were found so that any archaeologist or museum or researcher can learn what was found and where it was found. When finds are collected, they're placed in buckets like this one. Pottery shards and roof tiles stay in the buckets, but special finds are separated out and placed into plastic bags or other containers. This is probably the most common of the tags that you'll see. It's used for pottery buckets. We use paper that is waterproof as well as waterproof ink. The string ties it onto the bucket. Coins are probably the most important find because they are valuable for dating the finds of a given locus or area. Each coin is logged separately, placed in an individual coin-sized envelope, and given a unique address. The find is now officially registered. Here we see charcoal, tessera, and a coin that have been tagged and bagged and given their return address. This is a coin, and here we have the envelope with the registration information for that coin, which is also the return address. The excavation took place in Tiberias, Israel. This license differentiates our dig from any other dig taking place in Tiberias. Area, locus, and basket number provide the exact street address. We'll talk about them more in just a moment. Date and grid number provide the archaeologists with additional information. Tiberias on our label narrows an address down to a specific area of Israel, but Tiberias is a big city. The excavation license from the Israeli Antiquity Authorities shows exactly when and where in Tiberias we are permitted to dig. First, archaeologists identify where they want to dig the trenches. These trenches are then grouped into areas and assigned to an archaeologist who will be the area supervisor. The areas are identified with a two-character name such as M1, M2, or M3. Each locus in the area has a 3-digit locus number. Tags are labeled with the area ID and the locus number separated by a dot. For example, locus 406 in area M6 would be logged as M6.406. When and why do locus numbers change? A photo with a signboard is taken each time a new locus opens. The area ID is the same throughout the excavation season, but locus numbers may change frequently. Why? Because when something in the trench changes, then the current locus number is closed and a new locus number is assigned. Let's say you've uncovered a floor. If you dig under the floor, then you'll need a new locus number. Depending on what is excavated, one locus number may last for several days, or sometimes they change several times in one day. Because elevations are taken at the opening and closing of each locus, the locus number not only tells you where something was found, but how deep in the ground it was found. Using our return address analogy, this would be the same as identifying the floor of a building. Finally, we have basket numbers. The pottery in each bucket is washed and placed in a basket to dry, but it keeps the original tag. Whether a find is in a bucket or an envelope or a basket, its container is still called a basket. And the basket number is the most unique part of the address. An area will have multiple locus numbers and a locus will have multiple basket numbers, but each basket number is completely unique, sort of like the apartment number on a floor in a building. Next time you visit a museum, look at some of the finds on display. Each of them has a return address that leads back to a small spot in the earth where they were found. Pretty cool, huh?